What is up, Smudge Wellness? It's your girl, Jasmine Kylene. I'm a spiritual counselor. I am a journalist. I am a human being who really likes rocks, apparently. And I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful that Smudge Wellness is a platform that has housed my voice and has spread so much inspirational tools, resources, and voices like ours to help guide you guys on your journey of empowerment and self-discovery and all of the things. I tend to contribute to sort of like the ritual sector of Smudge Wellness, and so today I am here to talk a little bit about how you can ritualize the end of 2021 and go into 2022 with intention, with strength, with resilience, and most of all with clarity. No matter what you experienced this year, I feel like there's no way that you escaped having some sort of challenge or experience with overcoming a limiting belief or self-doubt or experiencing very viscerally what it means to be out of alignment and to be living in your limiting beliefs. And so it's important that we do not take the lessons and the experiences that we had this year in vain, and that we moved into 22 using what we have experienced as a tool for guidance, to know that everything that has happened for us, and it has taught us and mirrored back to us what it means to be in our fullest potential. I think this was the year of really recognizing what external circumstances and relationships and conditioning were telling us that we weren't innately worthy and just embodiments of power. And it was looking at the relationship between those external experiences and what we started to internally think and believe about ourselves, and begin to rewrite those narratives and really heal through those in a physical, emotional, and brave way. And I think 2022 is going to be the year where we can stand a bit in the benefits of those lessons and actually reap the rewards of saying your no's, saying your yeses, and above all else, creating and molding your life to honor your fullest potential and your power and what you deserve innately. And yeah. So this is a ritual that I'm so excited to do on New Year's Day. And I mean, you can do this ritual anytime, even if it passes like the new year. January 2nd is the new moon, and also just like at any point in your life, if you really want to recalibrate and get clarity on where you are going and who you want to be and how you can sort of shift any patterns and dynamics in your current reality to honor where it is that you want to be, you can do this ritual. My favorite part about this ritual is that it utilizes all of the elements, and I think anytime we are working with the elements and we're putting ourselves in a symbiotic place with Mother Earth and all of the elements that naturally show up on this planet, we are at our most powerful because we are in a physical place of co-creation with the universe and with Earth. So this is a ritual that I would recommend you do. I'm super excited, like I said, to do it myself, and it's super easy. All you're going to need is a journal, you're going to need a plant, you are going to need either some crystals or some seashells or anything small. I'll explain why. And you'll need obviously some water, some fire, those basic necessities. But pause the video, go get those things, come back when you're ready, and we can get started together. So when it comes to working with the elements, the first element that we're going to focus on is air. And so when we think about astrology and we think about the air signs, what sort of ties them together is that they are mental signs. They are signs that work with intellectuality, they work with thinking. So whenever we are journaling, we are in our air energy. We are really in the mind, we are processing, we are moving through what we can't physically see, like air. So in order to put you in a state of clarity, before we even get into the ritual, the first thing that you want to do is journal. And I have some prompts that I can share with you that can kind of sort of guide you through this undoing. But also, if you just want to kind of like automatic write or put out your feelings, put out what you've experienced this year, what you've learned this year, what your relationships, the failures and the wins, what they have taught you about yourself, about your resilience, about what you want and about what you don't want, and who you want to be and who you don't want to be, just kind of write that out and let it flow. You know, air is something that is without shape, it is without control, and so I would invite you to let your thoughts be the same way. Really allow it to just kind of move through and honor every thought and every emotion that comes up with full honesty and with full attention and acknowledgement. And if you do need some prompts, and some of the ones I will be working on is, what is a mantra I'm bringing into 2022, and what is a limiting belief I'm leaving in 2021? How can I take the lessons I've learned this year and put it towards my next era? How have I been diluting my power and limiting my worth? What are your partnerships and relationships mirroring to you about yourself right now? Who am I at my fullest potential, and what does a day in the life of me at my fullest potential look like? So those are just a couple of ways to kind of open up the brain and think about and just be in a reflective state with what you've learned so far and most of all, I think just what you want this next year and this next era and this next chapter of your life to look like. Of course, if you visit Lali La Luna TV on Instagram, I upload weekly journaling prompts in relationship to the astrological weather, so there are more prompts there if you feel more guided to go in. There's some shadow work prompts, some inner child prompts. There's a ton of prompts there if you want some more, but otherwise, really just, it's important that you let your brain sort of have this stream of consciousness and get everything out onto paper. Once you've journaled and you are in a state of clarity when it comes to what you are feeling and where you want to go, I would invite you to reread everything that you have journaled, and in the most succinct way possible, you can extract 5 words that represent what you are leaving in 2021, what you are no longer allowing or feeding or nourishing in your reality, and you can pick 5 words that embody what it is that you want to walk towards and cultivate and nurture in 2022. So obviously I haven't done all of mine yet because I'm kind of waiting until we're closer to the new year and I can really sit and do it, but I already have been working on it, and I know that at the very least a sort of like a phrase or a word that I am leaving in 2021 is external validation. This year I have realized that a lot of my sense of self-worth has been derivative of what other people think about me, and social media and all of those very fluctuating and toxic things. So I'm in a place where I am stepping into a sense of self-empowerment. So I'm leaving behind external validation, and I'm bringing in and I'm cultivating innate power and self-empowerment. I'm calling in goddess embodiment. I'm calling in a few things. I'm still cultivating the list, but take your time with it. Don't rush it. Really sit and look at what has come up. Look at what your own subconscious has told you about what you felt and learned and experienced this year, and take 5 things that you are not bringing into this next era and 5 things that you want to sort of center this next era in. And these words are very important. So like I said, don't rush it, take your time, really cultivate them. Now, the next thing you want to do, we're moving into the element of fire, right? And it's important to reflect on how constructive something that is deemed destructive can be. I think fire, which also goes hand in hand with anger, and with just rage, is something that has been demonized culturally, but it's an element that is honestly, if anything, it's a neutral element that is defined by the intention behind it. And we can take that same anger, that same rage, that same fire to either destroy or funnel it as a source of passion to create and to put beautiful boundaries, to release, to it's something that can construct new things in your life in the place of what it is taking away. So we love fire for us. And so basically what you want to do first and foremost is look at those 5 words that you are leaving in 2021 and write them onto little separate pieces of paper. I invite you to find a comfortable space to sit with them, and I think what's most important here is to reflect on what they have done for you. How have those things that you are releasing, whether it's resentment or external validation or whatever it is that you are leaving in 2021, thank it for teaching you, thank it for deepening you, for molding who you are, for the role that it played in your evolution, and release that thing. And the thing that you are letting go, it can be an emotion, it can be an experience, it can be a job, it can be a person, a relationship, a limiting belief, a way of thinking, a habit, whatever it is. Just make sure that you once again appreciate what it did for you when it did, and that you just let it go with peace. And this burning ritual can look like whatever intuitively resonates with you. I always like to have like a bowl of water under it. I will set the thing on fire, thank it, release it with love and gratitude, and then kind of like let it burn until it's a little time, and then I'll like drop it into the water. Wherever you feel comfortable, if you want to do it inside or if there's a safe place indoors to do it, just make sure that you are releasing, and that you are releasing with gratitude and with intention, and most of all with thankfulness for what this thing served in your life, and how all of the experiences that brought about that emotion, how they got you to where you're at in this current point in time. And once you have burned those things, release them, felt any emotion that has come with releasing them, and pay attention to the way that they burn, right? If things burn really quickly and easily, it means you were really in a place where you were ready. If they take more time burning, it means that there's some emotion that maybe needs to be looked at relative to those emotions, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that you aren't ready to move forward, but rather that there may also be some shadow work that still needs to happen alongside your evolution, right? not everything is linear, and you can be healing both in solitude and in companionship. You can be doing inner child work and shadow work. It can all happen at once. So if you're having a tough time burning these things, just know that like, oh, there are some emotions I need to look at relative to this thing that I'm letting go, and that's okay. And now we're moving towards the 5 things that we were calling into 2022. So this is when things get fun. So you want to get your little items and you want to get your plants. So my little items, I have my Smudge Wellness. Go and focus. Oh my god, is it gonna focus? It's not gonna focus, is it? So I have my little Smudge Wellness crystal pouch, and I have some cute crystals in here. Ooh, nothing pulling out, girl. I've got some amethyst, I have a rose quartz, I have labradorite, which is my favorite stone, tiger's eye, carnelian, aventurine. I've got a whole bunch of goodies in here. And so you want to make sure you have 5 of these, and these 5 things can be whatever you want it to be. I would definitely recommend that they are crystals, but if you want it to be seashells, I think seashells is a beautiful way to work with the water element. So if you want to get some seashells, I can't think of any more examples, but 5 small things that you don't mind, spoiler alert, putting into a plant and leaving within that plant. So whatever makes sense and connects with you energetically, find that. But otherwise, if you have 5 crystals that are small enough, these are more than 5, so I'm going to take a couple away, work with those. So my 5 is going to be my labradorite, my tiger's eye, my rose quartz, my aventurine, my amethyst. Yeah, that's 5. Wow, me doing math, right? Plants. Now I'm using a it has many names, but one of them is a money tree, so I'm just going to call it my money tree. This is her. She's beautiful. And you're going to want to set it in front of you and already start talking to the plant, already start pouring love into the plant. Whatever your relationship with plants are, just make sure that you have a loving connection with this plant, whether you go get a new one or whether it's a plant that you have already nurtured for some time. A big plant, a small plant, it doesn't matter, just as long as you feel some sort of connection to it, or if the plant itself represents something that is meaningful to you. So for instance, I picked this plant because I feel like it represents abundance, and it represents just being in a fruitful state of life, growth, all of those beautiful things that work beautifully with the words that I am cultivating and calling into 2022. So yeah, so get your plant and get your 5 things, your seashells, your crystals, your little cuties. And what you want to do is get into a really calm, meditative state. Do a meditation beforehand, do some breath work beforehand, listen to some sound bowls, listen to some binaural beats, do some dancing, whatever gets you in a state of alignment, in a state of high vibration. Tap into that center. And what you want to do is pick one of the words that you are calling into 2022 and hold either your crystal or your seashell, whatever you're planting into your plant, hold it while really centering yourself and thinking about that word. So for instance, I have this rose quartz, and I know that one of my words is going to be self-love. So when I'm sitting with this crystal, with this thing that I'm going to plant into my 2022 plant, you really want to feel, you want to affirm, you want to visualize and stand in the feeling of what it is like to live a life in alignment with self-worth. So let your body kind of intuitively guide you through this, whether you are repeating the affirmation over and over in your head, whether you are seeing yourself in acts of self-love. So, you know, self-care, saying no to relationships that no longer serve you, saying yes to things, going on dates, adorning your body, taking care of yourself, exercising, eating well, whatever self-love looks like to you. Really see yourself experiencing it. What's most important here, especially for manifestation, is feeling the feeling of what it is like to stand in that embodiment. So like, what does it feel like to be in an active state of self-love emotionally? Really let it be a physical and visceral feeling and allow it to sort of consume your entire body, and just sit with it, sit in it, and have it feel as real as possible. And you can hold the item close to your chest and your palms. Honestly, there's so much room in this ritual to make it personalized to you, so whatever intuitively feels right. You really want to pour so much intention into whatever that crystal or that seashell or that thing is representing before you put it into the plant. So you want to find a nice comfortable spot in the dirt, put it in. It doesn't have to go all the way in. In fact, if you wanted to sit over the dirt, that's fine too. Like I said, whatever intuitively feels nice. And then you want to take your next crystal, align it with the next word that is on your list, and do the same thing. So if you want to call in financial abundance with your aventurine or whatever it is, sit with it. Feel what it feels like to be in that state of financial abundance. Say different affirmations. Visualize what you're going to do when you have all this financial abundance, and sort of plant it and move through the cycle until you finish all of your items. And once all of the items are planted in your plant, you want to take a moment to sit with it, to kind of meditate alongside the plant. Really visualize what you'll be doing on a day-to-day to honor these intentions, how excited and grateful you are that they're on their way to you. Really be in a state of alignment, of gratitude, of presence with what you have just done. You want to thank your guides, you want to thank your angels, you want to thank your higher self, you want to thank whatever it is that you define divinity and God to be, whatever you are guided by. Thank them, and ultimately, thank yourself for doing all of the work that you have done thus far to get yourself in a place where these things are possible for you, and also thank yourself for all the future acts and choices that you are going to make in alignment with what it is that you are calling in. And when you are ready, bringing in the final element, right? Because we've worked with earth, we've worked with fire, we've worked with air, we want to work with water. So you want to water your intentions. Of course, every plant and every plant's necessities are different, so how you go about watering it regularly is obviously personalized, but for this very first time, right after you planted all your intentions, you want to water it and really see the water as a channel, as a form of nourishment that is going to water and grow these intentions in your life on a physical, mental, and spiritual level. So thank the water as you're watering these intentions, and really just as you're watering it, be in a present state, light some incense or play some, some music that feels high vibrational, and really just be in a state of like, I am growing these intentions, and know that by watering these intentions and watering these crystals and these words physically, you're also watering them every single day with the things that you say to yourself, with the choices that you make, with what you say yes and no to, and honestly, the habits that build your life. Because the thing is, these rituals and these intentions and these beautiful acts of self-love and self-service are incredible, and they're a beautiful way to call it in, to let the universe know where you're at and what you desire, and to have a physical representation of it. I think seeing this plant every single day is going to remind you, almost like a vision board would, of what you are building your life to be. But these things are nothing without action, so you want to see every action that you are doing every single day on a micro and macro level as a form of watering your intention. So if you, for instance, want to be more spiritually powerful this year, think of every time that you meditate, every time that you read a certain book or you do a certain act that is spiritually aligned, as a form of watering, right? On a micro and macro level, like I said. So the very small things, like for instance, instead of waking up and immediately going on social media, you decide that you want to meditate for 5 minutes or listen to some sort of frequencies or whatever the case may be. That's a micro way to sort of build your spiritual strength. But also on a macro level, you can let go of any draining or toxic relationships and start cutting people off, start actually honoring your energy on a very large scale, and know that act in itself is so largely watering this intention that you've set for yourself and how you're going to stand in your power in 2022. So yeah, after the ritual is done, obviously thank your guides, thank yourself, and put and display this plant in a place where you see it every single day. Water and take care of it and nurture it as is needed relative to said plant. And I think what's most important is to let go, right? To honor and make sure that every choice that you make, of course, is filtered to the lens of, am I honoring the version of me that I am choosing to become in this era that I'm stepping into? But if we hold on to our manifestations so tightly that we don't give it room to breathe or have any room to show up in the way that it wants to naturally and organically and in alignment with divine timing, we are creating our own sense of resistance. So it's important to let it go. Once you have communicated to the universe what it is that you are calling in, and those intentions, those things that you planted, they can be things that you want to call in on a physical level, right? If you want a new home, if you want a new job, if you want a relationship. It also can be sort of things that honor and embody or just exemplify self-development. So if you want to cultivate more peace or more presence, if you honestly, I know for one of mine, if you want to call in more boundaries this year, whatever it is that intention represents, it can really be anything as long as it's in alignment with your next era in life. Just know that saying it and setting the intention is such a large part of it. Aligning your action with it is such a large part of it. But that's it. That's all you really need to do. You don't have to question the universe every single day for why it hasn't shown up or why it hasn't come into physical fruition in the way and the speed in which you would like, if your manifestation or whatever it is you're calling in is taking more time or showing up in different ways. I think if we're calling it something very large, sometimes the universe has to give us some prep. Sometimes the universe has to give us some tests. And it's important to note that is all happening for you, and it's all happening in alignment with the perfect and divine timing. So while I think this year has been a year of tests and prep, and it's time to just simply call in and enjoy, you will know personal to you when you still have some resistance, or you still have some things to work through, or some physical lessons to learn in order to really live and cultivate and nurture this thing that you are calling in, right? Because if we aren't ready for the thing, once it's here, we won't know how to take care of it. We can fall back into alignment with old limiting beliefs or habits or trauma responses. And so it's important to note that it's going to show up exactly when you are ready for it. And this is setting the intention to ready yourself for it, and to cultivate the perfect and fertile environment for it to be brought into your physical space. So I hope that this ritual served you. I would definitely invite you to either do it within your solitude, or if you have a safe space within community, if you have some friends or family members that you know would benefit from it as well, invite them in to do it. But otherwise, I will be doing it alongside you guys. I'm waiting until the 31st or January 2nd, which is a new moon. I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm super excited, and I think the best part of this, like I said, is that it's utilizing all of the elements. So make sure that you are intentional and you're taking your time slowly with what it is that you are calling in and what you are using to call in. So which plant resonates, which words resonate, and ultimately just, yeah, what life looks and feels like on the other side of this year. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know how this ritual serves you, and if you ever want to work one-on-one or consume more of my content, my personal Instagram is Jasmine Kylene. I'm also on Instagram at Jasmine Kylene. You can reach out to me for one-on-ones or readings or whatever the case may be. Thank you to SMUDGE Wellness for housing my voice, and for being such an incredible platform. And of course, if you want to utilize crystals in this ritual and you don't have any, head on over to SMUDGE Wellness for beautiful babies like these, and of course many, many more. And yeah, I'll see you in the new year. I hope you enjoy the holiday season. Bye!